Hello, my name is Damian Quigley, and today I will be doing my presentation on my study abroad trip to Ghana with CCBC. Our first night arriving in Ghana, we were welcomed with a large array of food and traditional dances. The traditional dances usually consist of storytelling of some sort or telling a background or some type of meaning. It wasn't just any regular dancing. Also, they were dressed up in traditional attire, and these dances usually date back to ancestors years and years, thousands of years ago.
So that's their political campaign. So it's the ruling party song that they are playing.
Here we went to Coconut Grove Resort. And when you usually think about Africa, the media portrays something that's not so beautiful. But being able to wake up and see the beach, palm trees, the sunrise in the morning, I actually valued it a lot better than what I did if I would have seen pictures on Google. Cape Coast Castle is a historical landmark, considering it played a major role in the transatlantic slave trade. Before being part of the slave trade, it was built in the 16th century by the Portuguese. Originally, this castle was made to trade timber, gold, and other important things that they needed for the country. Eventually, they started trading slaves, and it became a major trading port for the slaves to come to America. To visit this landmark is very emotional considering the people that built this castle, that put their blood, sweat, and tears into it, were the same people that they captured and held hostage to bring to America as slaves. 15% of the slaves that they had on the ships died. A lot of people did not make it. Pregnant women that were raped by the captives were actually thrown overboard and fed to the sharks. The door of no return never had a meaning to me until I went here to learn the history and the background of the castle, to realize that I'm walking the same path that my ancestors walked, and to know that they were never going to return to their land. It was an aha moment to me. It's a moment that I take in and I will always remember for the rest of my life. It's a moment that made me reflect on where I came from, where my ancestors derived from, the appreciation that I have for them. Once walking through the door of no return, you see people are still living here. They're still thriving. They're right here on the outside of history, which is now known as the door of return, waiting for the return of the taken ancestors.
Here was meant for the soldiers who misbehaved, but they were not killed because they had friends, gave them food, water, showed this.
This is actually the resting place of W.E.B. Du Bois, and his wife cremated ashes next to him. Ghana is very known for their custom and specialized caskets. In Ghana, these caskets are usually created based on a person's occupation, their status in life, and also their hobbies. To them, when a loved one dies, it's not just a time for mourning, but it's a time to celebrate the life of the deceased. It's time to celebrate and enjoy everyone's company, to laugh, to dance, and to party. Sorry, you guys, it's through the gate. But this one is money. You have a cacao pod. Also, you have a fan ice cream container. We were actually given a chance to visit a morgue on the teaching hospital's property, and the manager, and which was our speaker, Solomon Quazan, actually talked about some of the everyday in and out and challenges that they go through. He said within a year they do about 4,000 autopsies. On a slower day, they would do 8 autopsies a day, and usually about 5 autopsies a month. Autopsies there are actually free to the public, and if they have any unclaimed bodies will actually go to the Corley-Boo Teaching Hospital for further study and research, and the bodies that are not actually sent to the school are put into a mass grave. There's no restrictions on how long they have to keep a body, but they do try to utilize them and with the most dignity and respect. They do not use the body parts from the deceased for transplant because they actually don't have any room. They don't have any storage room available because the volume of bodies that they receive is very high. Morgues does the embalming because funeral homes were not that prevalent. Funeral homes were actually introduced in 2004. Utilizing 25 embalmers a day, the morgue still use gravity injectors. Embalming costs 100 CDs, which is their actual currency, and that's 20 US dollars. 1 week is 12 CDs for storage. The second week is 18 CDs a day. And then it's for on the week 3, there's 20 CDs a day. Once the morgue is done doing all their duties, the family actually comes with their own casket, dress and wash the deceased, and place them in the casket themselves and take them away to whatever burial site or whatever ceremony they're going to have for that loved one. I love the connection and the closeness that they have with their deceased because they don't try to rush them and send them away once their loved one has passed away. They take the time to plan everything out, to make sure everything is appropriately done, and to make sure they represent the best life that that person has lived. Also, 1 year after the deceased has passed away, they actually do a Thanksgiving, which is when everyone comes to the burial site and have a party and celebrate with food, drinks, and the whole community can get together to remember that person on the 1 year anniversary. For families that do not use a funeral home, they can choose to pick their casket from the side of the road to use for a service. In comparison, this is a selection room inside of the Traditions Funeral Home. Even the caskets here range from traditional and non-traditional. And in Ghana, they still use caskets and coffins. We actually stayed on the campus of Corley-Boo Teaching Hospital. This hospital was established in 1923. This hospital may not look the best or may not have the newest technology, but this is the primary spot where doctors and nurses come to receive their training and go to school. This campus is absolutely huge. Like any major that you want to study inside the medical field, they have it here. They also have students coming from other countries to come here and study. Upon arriving to UGMC, we had the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Lawson, the founding father and anatomist of this hospital. Even though this hospital is not a teaching hospital, they actually produce simulation rooms. They have an up-to-date radiology department. They have the newest ultrasound, mammogram, MRI equipment, with the hopes of opening up in 2021. These are actually some of the models they use in the simulation rooms. As you can tell, they are different parts of the body.
Carotid pulse. It's not, they've not activated
So
it.
he actually has a pulse.
Yeah, yes.
Oh,
Yeah, you can take the
that's so
pulse.
cool.
It can even talk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can listen to the heart,
wow.
the lung sounds. You can take the blood pressure and so on.
The CCBC one is a little more.
Still on the UGMC campus, this is us entering into the morgue. This morgue will also be open in 2021 when the rest of the hospital is unveiled. Looking at this massive amount of space, this morgue can actually hold 45 bodies at a time. When traveling outside the country, usually a lot of people have anxiety far as food and if they're going to like it and what type of food they usually cook there. But the food here, number one, is very spicy. I'm not a person that love or like spicy food, but here it was actually pretty good. It was nice to see food that is real, not processed, not coming out of a package. Every morning we had fresh cooked food, fresh eggs, sausage, peppers, onions, fresh squeezed juice. And I actually loved it. I really love the food here. They do eat a lot of rice. I'm not a rice person, but I adapted and I enjoyed it. I ate a lot of goat, chicken, and lamb. I even had oxtail. I usually eat oxtail here, but going to Africa, oxtail is slightly different. They really had a Chinese carryout. Overall, I can say I really love this trip because I got to meet new people, create some wonderful memories that I will always have with me. I've met some new friends that I didn't think I would, and I really enjoyed myself. Thank you for coming to my channel and watching my presentation. If you have any comments or questions, please comment below. Bye.